Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Secretary. A year ago, when you gave testimony about the TRIO program not working, I asked you if you had read the department's own studies on it. You told me you had not. Have you now read those studies?
I'm sorry, sir, which program?
The TRIO programs.
The TRIO program. I have read many of the studies which were self-reported by TRIO.
Great. Well, I'm glad you have.
Because there is no audit capability that we have.
Well, thank you, because the department's own studies show an extraordinary record of success. When I think about the fact that you have the Talent Search students 33% more likely to enroll in college, that you have the Upward Bound students twice as likely to earn a bachelor's degree, that you have the veterans Upward Bound 42% more likely to earn a bachelor's degree, et cetera. And I believe you were the first in your family to go to college.
That's correct.
As was I. I come from a very blue-collar, frontier, homesteading, timber background. And I knew nothing about the world of college. I stumbled into someone mentioning a deadline for college applications. I then stumbled into an assistant superintendent who advised me to apply to some colleges that had those early deadlines. But it's from that perspective that I believe that having conscious programs to help people overcome the cultural chasm that exists between blue-collar kids like myself and that college world that you have very little contact on is enormously valuable in America. And the stats from these programs are pretty damn impressive. I did want to draw your attention to the letter that Senator Collins and Senator Warnock sent about making this point and encouraging you to keep and increase and improve these programs. 6 Republican senators, Collins, Crapo, Risch, Lankford, Tillis, and Murkowski, 6 Democrats. That's as bipartisan it gets. Folks from extraordinarily different backgrounds all saying this program bears merit. And I would like to submit this letter for the record, please.
Without objection.
Thank you very much. So I just want to emphasize the point that Senator Collins was making and Senator Sheen was making. Look at your own studies. Talk to the TRIO kids who come from these different backgrounds, had no idea, like I had no idea what college was all about, who found a pathway, and I got lucky. I stumbled into folks who gave me insight, but getting lucky shouldn't be the necessary way to bridge the chasm between the blue-collar, non-college communities like I grew up in and the college community and that opportunity. And I do understand and I support passionately the career technical education programs, but we already have those programs. Let's enhance those programs that are working, not convert this program, which serves a very different function. Second, I wanted to address the nursing education and student loans. And in OBA, it created a new federal loan limit for graduate and professional borrowers. And this is for federal loans. And in the rule that you've put forward, you've created a distinction for postgraduate nursing students and said basically they're going to be capped at $20,000, $500 annually. And there's a tremendous concern that those caps are going to decimate the ability for folks to be able to get post-baccalaureate nursing degrees. There's 150 members of Congress who signed a letter pointing this out. It's a very bipartisan letter as well. So I will submit for the record that letter. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Given our shortage of healthcare workers, given how few general practitioners we have, why are you targeting nurses as we face these dire healthcare and trying to prevent people from getting these graduate degrees?
Thank you for that question. Certainly nurses are not being targeted. And this is part of a rulemaking regulation that's still in the process of rulemaking, not quite finished. But this is not in any way to cast any kind of aspersions or any kind of review of the nursing programs or other of health service programs that have come under regulation for postgraduate degrees. It is simply by the definition that Congress itself wrote into the regulation as what considered a professional degree. And so by putting caps on some of those professions that don't fall into the category that has been absolutely determined by Congress under the regulatory environment. We hope to bring down the cost of college.
So, Madam Secretary,
if I might, this is important.
I only have a few seconds.
$100,000
point.
cap for graduates for
Thank you. I
those
hear your
degrees,
point.
and $200,000 for others.
But here's the thing. The OBA bill did not make these distinctions. It's your rule that is proposing this distinction for nurses. So I'd encourage you to look at the actual OBA language. Second of all, the argument is that by, if I was making your case for you, that by reducing the loans, somehow people will get their degree for cheaper. That's not what happens. What happens is they have to go from the federal loans that have a lower interest rate to the private loans that have a much higher interest rate, and that makes it much less affordable and much less appealing to pursue these degrees. So it really has a devastating impact. The only people who are helped by that strategy are the private loan companies that make a lot more money. That is not helping our healthcare system. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Sir, I can tell you that our research has showed that over 90% of the nursing graduate programs in our country can be achieved for less than $100,000. $100,000 under this bill is the cap for the graduate program as it is defined by Congress. And so therefore, one of the goals, hopefully, is to help colleges see these incredible costs of colleges, that 10% that's not doing it, and help bring college costs down. When you can go to one college and get a degree that the nursing program is going to cost $200,000, and another well-qualified college can deliver the same degree for $85,000, then it gives the consumers an opportunity to choose and making them aware of what these different costs of these programs are. And as I say, we're still in rulemaking. It's not final, but the final rulemaking will be soon.
Madam Chair, can I just make a note on that? So there's also a semester limit. These nursing graduate programs are 3 semesters, so it doesn't become, it becomes the annual limit is that you might be thinking applies to 2 semesters. It covers 3 semesters. That annual limit, virtually no nursing programs in the private sector apart from the public programs meets that, actually. So I think your analysis is completely wrong. This is completely damaging, and I encourage you to take a look before you do the final rule.
Senator Jeff Merkley delivered a passionate defense of federal education and nursing loan programs during a tense exchange with Education Secretary Linda McMahon, arguing that proposed student loan caps could severely damage access to advanced nursing degrees. Merkley began by defending TRIO programs, which help low-income and first-generation students navigate pathways into higher education. Drawing from his own upbringing in a blue-collar family, he described how many students lack guidance about college opportunities and said programs like TRIO help bridge that gap. While supporting career and technical education, he argued those programs serve a different purpose and should not replace college access initiatives. The hearing then shifted to nursing education, where Merkley sharply criticized a proposed rule that would cap federal loans for certain graduate nursing students at roughly $20,500 annually. He warned that the policy could devastate the healthcare workforce at a time when the country already faces major nursing shortages. McMahon rejected the claim that nurses were being targeted, explaining that the proposal stemmed from broader federal definitions established by Congress regarding which programs qualify as professional degrees. She argued the administration's goal was to pressure colleges to lower tuition costs by limiting how much students can borrow federally. But Merkley pushed back aggressively, arguing that loan caps do not reduce tuition, they simply force students into private loans with much higher interest rates. In his view, the policy would make advanced nursing degrees less affordable while benefiting private lending companies instead of healthcare workers. McMahon countered that most graduate nursing programs already fall below the proposed federal loan cap and suggested that cost transparency would encourage students to choose more affordable schools. Merkley, however, challenged the administration's math, noting that many nursing programs operate year-round across 3 semesters, meaning the annual borrowing limit would stretch far less than officials claim. By the end of the exchange, Merkley bluntly declared the administration's analysis completely wrong, and warned the proposal could seriously harm the nation's healthcare system by discouraging future nurses from pursuing advanced degrees.